Today I'm making Everyday Brown Butter Cake by Buttermilk by Sam. This was recommended to me as I love brown butter. I make a banana bread that has a brown butter icing on it and it's delicious. This was recommended to me because I love brown butter. I make a banana bread with brown butter icing on top. So someone sent me the link and said, you have to try this. Brown butter can be quite a daunting thing to do, but it's quite easy to burn. So I will include a little tutorial in the beginning of how I do it. Now this took me 15 minutes in total, so I like to go quite slow with it. Other than the brown butter, it actually looks like quite a simple recipe to do. It seems to be quite an all-in-one bowl recipe, which I love. Less washing up to do. Right, let's get straight to it then. So here's how I do brown butter. So I have 290 grams of butter melting in the pan at the moment. So this whole process of browning butter took me about 15 minutes. I like to go low and slow with brown butter. You can do it on a high heat, but it's just butter's £1.70 now for a block and I don't want to waste it. Also, it is something that some people like to just leave and bubble on its own. However, I like to stir it just to make sure nothing's burning. So here's the first change to the melted butter. A thin layer of white foam will slowly start to form on the top. As it bubbles and as you continue to stir it, this white froth will eventually go away. So when this froth does go, it will look like as if you're deep frying something. As this is bubbling away, there's bubbles of steam that just kind of rise to the top in one big push. I don't know how to describe this. It's almost like it's before an eruption of a volcano. The more we cook this, the more frequent these bubbles of steam are. So during this process of browning butter, we're essentially evaporating the steam out of the butter and then browning the milk solids. So I love the sounds that come out from browning butter. I don't know what it is, I just find it quite satisfying. So now that we've cooked it for quite a while, the bubbles on top are starting to be more in a formation. They're starting to get a little bit bigger. And now there's also starting to be a little bit of a foam forming on top. So here we can see that the foam is starting to get a little bit thicker. It's also quite clear at the moment. This is a sign that we're towards the end of browning butter. So now the foam on top is so thick I can't really see what's underneath, which is a good sign because it means that we're nearly finished. The foam on top has started to rise and it's gone a slightly golden colour. So at this point I know it's nearly done. I'm stirring a lot more frequently and I'm scraping the bottom with the spatula. This is just to make sure that there are no bits caught and they don't burn. So this is ready when the foam has gone a golden brown colour and it's also started to deflate a little bit. The mix should also go a lot quieter as well. I know brown butter can be a daunting thing to do, so hopefully this helps. Hopefully you know what signs to look for when making it. So in a large bowl, we're going to add 220 grams of light brown sugar, the hot brown butter, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Then whisk together for a full minute, just so the sugar melts slightly. Then in total I'm adding 3 eggs, adding 1 at a time and whisking for a full minute in between each addition. The mixture should go quite thick and quite shiny. So I added in half of our flour mix, which is 250 grams of cake flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of bicarb. Then gently fold in 240 grams of sour cream, followed by the rest of that flour mix. So I'm folding in just till there's no flour bits visible. Then pour into our grease and lined tin. I'm using an 8 by 10 inch tin. Spread out until roughly even and sprinkle on top 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I baked it in the oven for around 40 minutes. You can check by sticking a cake tester in and it should come out clean. And leave to cool completely on a wire rack. I cut mine into 16, but they could have easily been double the size of that. So this was great. It had a really nice flavour to it. The brown butter added a nice little nuttiness to it and it had a lovely texture too. It was really moist. So I was thinking this would be a really good base recipe. I think it's very easy to include other flavours into it, and something like cinnamon or coffee. a nice coffee icing would go with it, or even a mocha icing. And then if you're feeling super adventurous, a brown butter icing on top would go amazing, I feel like. I also wanted to try this hot with custard because I feel like that'd be a very nice, indulgent pudding to have. What I love about this recipe is that it can be done by hand. It does require a little bit of arm power to it because after adding each egg, you do have to whisk it for a minute. But the mixture isn't super thick, so if you have the mobility, it is possible to use just the hand whisk. I feel like this would be nicer with a buttercream or something, or ganache on top. The sugar was fine. I like the texture of it and the nice little crunch it adds. However, I think just to take it to the next level, it does need that another dimension of flavour to it. I would be making this again. I plan on making it again. It was easy. It was delicious. I can't wait to try out more recipes by Sam because if they're anything like this one, I will thoroughly enjoy them. Thanks for watching. Bye.